a European American girl gets up, and she says, "Oh, my question's for Ahmad. First question." And I knew where this question. This is in 2003, going into 3. I knew what she was gonna ask, and she says, "Ahmad, can I ask you something?" I said, "Yeah, sure." She says, "How was life for you after 9/11 in here, being that you're a Muslim?" And I said, "I'm glad you asked the question. I was hoping you would, and I knew you would, and you did." I said, I've been in these institutions for 10 years now, or whatever, 11 years, or whatever it was. And I said, some of these guys on this panel have been with me for almost that long, so I can't lie to you. They know me just as well as I know myself. I demand my respect. I don't disrespect nobody. And I'm going to tell you this. I was also in prison in 1996 when Timothy McVeigh blew up the Murrow building. And I never seen anybody question a Catholic or an Irish. So why would anybody question me about what happened at 9/11? Why would I have a problem at 9/11? Why should I be questioned, or why should I be looked at any different than a Catholic or an Irish who was doing time when Timothy McVeigh blew up the Murrow building? He was Catholic and he was Irish. Plus, the people accused of being in that plane are mainly Saudis. I'm a Palestinian. I'm not denying the Saudis. I don't even, but why should I have to be held accountable for them? Why should I have to answer anything about that? And then the whole place just got up and started clapping. All the students, even the guys with me. I mean, don't come with no silly questions. Those.
Look, with that life experience, a lot of people had to be taught and coached how to answer like that to people. But that came from your experience. Exactly. Right? That's a beautiful thing.
So I want to say something too, about this. It was the Muslims that were strong in their deen that had the ability, the courage to say something like this. Yes. The ones that were shaky about their faith, they were all over.
You had no clue.
Yeah, they had no.
You had no clue. Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off. I did not go in the TV rooms. I used my headphones and had to listen to BBC right, and NPR. And I'm listening to NPR and BBC, and there's an imam in Houston. He's crying. They shot at our masjid. And I'm enraged. Yeah. You're a Muslim. You're crying on there. You're scared. Why? I was enraged. And at him and his demeanor and the way he's reacting to this. And when you behave like that, oppressors feed off of that. They become more oppressive.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think the thing is that it's not just. So there was a dichotomy here between the ones that were strong in their faith and the ones that weren't, and the ones and you had youth that were like that too. Some of us were very adamant about our Islam. We say, listen, I don't care what anybody says, right? They're not coming to our masjid and doing this stuff. Exactly. We went to the masjid and we went to go defend it.
Your area, actually, Bridgeview. We went to the Bridgeview area and we're like, you know what? We heard about, because that area is rough. There's got a lot of people,
white supremacists,
and they're like circling the mosque and stuff.
South side of Chicago is full of it.
A bunch of us, we just got up in the car, we drove over there. We're like, all right,
no question.
We're just looking for a fight.
We're just come on. Anybody that looks a different way, and it wasn't that we were that's what Islam teaches. No, but that was the level of like, we're not going to tolerate type of thing. Like, you're not going to intimidate us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think and what the U.S. government doesn't realize is when they try to criminalize us, we were people that don't back down. Yes. So you're going to make us more radical. And when they wonder why young kids went overseas or talked about jihad or whatever, it's because you pushed them in the corner. When you try to say, okay, we're going to come down on you, we're going to intimidate you, we're going to put the Patriot Act, we're going to send the FBI to your house, that emboldened them. Oh, yeah? all right, because there's some who are weak in their faith. Because for us, we grew up with the idea, Ibn Taymiyyah, he goes to jail. The Imam Ahmad, he goes to jail. People like this, they struggled for their deen, the ghuraba. We grew up with these stories. People who didn't have that deen, they were easily intimidated to be assimilate. But the ones that grew up with it, we're not backing down. Even though we didn't agree with what happened, but we're not going to be put on trial for our religion.
No, of course, man. There's one other part of the dichotomy that you were mentioning. Some of the people in the community that thought some of the youth that didn't have too much understanding of the deen, those guys shined really nice too, because they were those people that had a lot of ghira for the deen. They just didn't practice it like everybody else did.
But the thing is, again, that's a tarbiyah. They grew up with these stories that, hey, it's they heard about Badr, Uhud. They heard about the famous angel Lut. All these times when Muslims were minorities and people came after them, it was a source of pride for them, right? The identity was built from a young age. Maybe they didn't practice, but the identity was there. That we're not going to be pushed around. Allah made you a Muslim. That's something unique, right? And what I'm trying to get at is that was part of the struggle after 9/11 for many Muslims, because some didn't know how to behave and they just went all over the place. And there were ones that knew how to behave, maybe they were overzealous, and that caught the eye, because the U.S. government wanted everyone to be like, all right, Islam needs to be reformed, we need to have a conversation, we're apologetic, and if you weren't that attitude, then you were a subject of scrutiny.
And then you had individuals like a famous so-called sheikh out of California go to the White House and say that many of the masajid are teaching radicalizing youth.
I know who you're talking about. I met that guy, by the way.
Call him out. What was his name?
Hisham Kabani, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Not just him.
Hamza Yusuf, yeah.
Hamza Yusuf.
Yeah. So what they did was they went out and saying that they made a convenient excuse. They said, you know what? It's just those Wahhabis. Don't worry about us. It's the Wahhabis that went out and did this stuff. And they made the argument that, 99% of the masajid in America are teaching Wahhabis at the Jummah khutbah. And to be honest, at that time, most of the ummah had no idea between Ash'ari or Athari or this. They had no idea. They just went to the masjid, Sali Jummah, and they went home. Right? That was it. And here's the worst part, okay? By the way, people don't realize, the young guys don't realize this. In the 80s and 90s, the U.S. government was okay with the fact that people were going, like mujahideen were coming to America to get treatment and then recruit to do jihad in like Afghanistan and Bosnia and Chechnya. They were okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get enough credit that we, the Muslims in Afghanistan, are the ones who crushed communism in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
That's who bankrupted the Soviet Union.
That's true.
Afghanistan and those who went and fought in Afghanistan. But they like to portray that it was the West itself. Of course, they gave weapons, but the fight on the ground, the belief that Iman that caused that was the Muslims. I'd like to just say, I don't know for what time we're calling.
You can go on for a long time.
Are you okay with time? Because I know I gave you an hour, but we're way over now.
A little bit of time because I might have to.
Yes, we'll go.
Her dad's in the hospital.
Okay.
That would be great for some dua. He had open heart surgery. He's a good brother. Ameen. Sallallahu Sayyidina Muhammad. I'd like to say this. I got out of the brothers in prison don't get enough support from the community. I will tell you this. The brotherhood in the prison, Islamic brotherhood, is so strong that if the outside was like that, Muslims would be great. You come outside the mosques, the masajid, with all due respect, have become almost like churches. We're cool inside the church. We're cool inside the mosque. Once we separate and go outside, we go our separate ways. You got people who we need to be more tolerant with the African American community and the Hispanic community that is becoming blooming